This video has been sponsored today by Hims, a brilliant and trusted online service that allows men to get access to high-quality medical products based on some of the more embarrassing issues you maybe don't want to go and see a doctor about, such as hair loss, sexual wellness, and acne. Come on guys, let's admit it, we've all had a few problems in our lives that we've been a little bit too shy to see somebody about, and that's totally normal, that's fine. And at 4hims.com, all you need to do is fill out a medical evaluation form and then get real recommendations from real doctors on prescription and non-prescription based treatments at affordable prices. Which is great, especially with US healthcare prices, am I right? They then get shipped discreetly to your door, but I'm not going to be discreet when I tell you to please go to the description to 4hims.com/caddy. And as a thanks, they'll give you an entire month's trial of the complete hair kit for only $5. So thank you so much for listening, and please enjoy the video. Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome back to the Caddicarus show, where I always have to do the deed of deciding whether or not things deserve to be slaughtered or salvaged. But I've lost my salvage gun, which is fucking bullshit! Do you guys remember sometime last year when I made a video about Rugrats Search for Reptar? Geese! Geese! It's dumb, it's awkward, and honestly not that good at all, but it's still a classic media tie-in game from the time, and one that is very faithful to the thing it's based on. Also, how could you have lost Reptar? Look out the window, you can't fucking miss him. And that game sold so well at the time that THQ figured that they could sell a sequel off a year later. So they did, and the devs figured that they shouldn't fix what was already broken and decided to reuse every asset from Search for Reptar in some way or another so that they could craft the next thing that could possibly live up to this. Rugrats Studio Tour was the fruit of their labour, and it was the one Rugrats game I spent the most time with as a kid. Also, did you know it was a brand new release? But I mean, Christ, when I say they reused every asset from the first game in some way or another, I'm not kidding. Rugrats Studio Tour feels more like a DLC campaign to Search for Reptar more than an entirely new game, like what Totally Fanny tried to do, and everything from character models to the controls and camera are pinpoint exactly the same as Search for Reptar, which automatically makes it a bad sequel because it didn't address any of the shit in the other game that was terrible. But if you want more of the same, I suppose Studio Tour is harmless enough. And luckily that's exactly what I'm looking for, the same, because I'm slowly coming to terms with ignoring the existential barriers that I've abided my life by and will not break them down in a vain attempt to make my life more interesting. Ah, good to see you guys again. How's it going at titty huffing? Also, you're just hanging out with Nickelodeon, I see. What are you up to then? Drinking a nice bit of orange milk? And here are the same devs from Search for Reptar, End Space, which of course stands for never mind, I don't want to play this game anymore, can I go to space instead? And here's the menu. Okay, gotta be honest, this is kind of fucking disappointing right off the bat. This is just a picture of the box art, just there, waiting for you to press start. Where's all the subtle animations and wacky backgrounds they use from Search for Reptar? And where are all the babies popping their heads out and going, ah! Coming soon, Rugrats Studio Tour. Aren't I playing it now? And we begin our story following the Pickles family in the middle of a movie studio tour.
Oh, I get it now!
And start off by listening to our tour guide for today.
Welcome to the Gigantomongous Studio Tour, everyone! Home of Gigantomongous fun! My name is Larry, and I'll be your guide today!
It's funny you should say that, Larry, because I want to stick a gigantomongous knife in your face. But of course, what else would happen in the Rugrats universe other than the parents fucking off and forgetting that they're parents, leaving the babies to toss around and get lost? Nothing. And this time their disappearance is caused by Angelica, also known as Fanny.
I'm going to the place he said was totally cool.
Because she acts like a fanny. I'm also not a big fan of Dil's multi-leg stroller thing. He looks like a fucking James Bond villain. In fact, he reminds me a bit too much of Waternoose in Monsters, Inc.
Oh, just doing my job, Mr. Waternoose. Of course, I did learn from the best.
Okay, now we're in the options menu about to actually start the game, and I must say that this music and sound effect adjust is a little bit too adorable.
Press up or down to make the sound louder or softer. I want
Shut up, Fanny! The story then continues as we see Dil turning the lights off, then stare at Tommy's bioluminescent eyes of hate, and then see a security guard turn the lights back on, only to warn us about this high-tech security door storing the most expensive equipment in the studio that is completely wide open. As he gets closer to the door to lock it up, Dil goes full-on pickle and picks up the keys, throwing them all over the floor, after which he rolls into the room and gets locked in, meaning we now have to go through every other fucking film set in the studio and complete the mini-games within them to find the keys and open the door because the keys were definitely not thrown on the floor at all. Shut up. So where do we go first? Oh, no, anybody but you, Fanny! Cowgirl Susie, I think I can cope with this, yeah.
I always wanted to be a cowgirl.
Well, if it ain't Susie the Kid.
How the fuck does he know who Susie is? I think we may need to call the police. On we go to minigame number 1, the gold mine, where you need to grab the amount of gold stated on the screen and make it back to the start of the level while
barely staying on the track at all, and more importantly, doing it very quickly
Before the dynamite blows.
If any of you wanted a darker sequel to Search for Reptar, I hope the prospect of dead, mangled baby corpses is enough for you.
And now that I think about it, this shit is straight out of a survival horror game. While grabbing the gold, there are ghosts that will spawn and attack you, meaning that you have to zap them away with your torch. And if you thought Alan Wake's batteries were pathetic, check this out. Even Resident Bloody Evil isn't this strict with resources. What is this shit? Oh my god, jump scares too? This is a survival horror.
I got the gold. Now where's that mine entrance?
Ah yes, the question on every toddler's mind.
I must know, how the hell do the babies jump this high in these godforsaken minecarts? How do they turn around on the spot? Is Chucky alright? I think he needs help. These controls are really not very good. Yes, even with the fact that you're locked onto 4 directions and only need to use the D-pad. Look at it, the babies can't decide what the fuck they're even doing. Sometimes they constantly stand upright on one end of the track, sometimes they only do it for a fraction of a second, missing their turn or an item off to the side, and that fucking camera screws you over more than missold PPI. Oh god, fucking just come on, Tommy, get out of there! Okay, I got the key I needed. Great, on to the next minigame, Roundup. What's this about then?
Action!
What?!
Yeah, I fell through the floor. Let's try that again then, one more time.
Action!
Oh, fucking hell.
Now I'm really moving.
Yep, you sure are. Okay, so I'm giving up on that minigame. It clearly doesn't want to work, so how about we try mini-golf instead? This couldn't be any more similar to Ice Cream Mountain from Search for Reptar, even if it tried. It does work perfectly well, though, so I can't complain. It's mini-golf in nicely themed locations that take you on a mini journey through the Wild West. I like it, it's really fun. And I also love how, like in Ice Cream Mountain, you can freely explore the holes themselves to find extra loose keys and Reptar bars, which you'll want to do since every 50 Reptar bars gives you an extra key to use in the door to save Dil. Somehow. Wait, how the hell do you get a key after 50 Reptar bars? Do you eat them all and then shit out the key? Did the babies eat the fucking keys? Why don't their parents feed them?
You're beautiful, baby!
Don't worry, I think the police are on their way. I also love how the ball doesn't actually roll, but floats along the hole after you hit it. It's so cheap and shitty, but as charming as a chimp, so I don't mind at all. If you perform extra well in the golf, you also get access to a bonus round at the end to win even more Reptar bars in a limited time, which then awards you more keys if you find enough, meaning that you'll finish the game faster. Do these guys want me to play their game or not? To be fair though, I do like the fact that the game isn't tied down to any singular goal, and you can choose to tackle any minigame stage in any order as long as you win enough keys to carry on to the end game. I wasn't expecting non-linearity in Rugrats Studio Tour. Next minigame, Milk Squirt, yes! This is very simple. It's just target shooting but with slightly different rules and conditions for each level. Like finding the matching tile to the one at the bottom in only a few seconds and with only one shot. But my favourite ones are the ones where you have to hit a certain number of objects but with unlimited squirts. Why does that sound like a porn subscription? And since the cursor is so ridiculously sensitive, this means you can just blindly throw your aim all around the screen and squirt absolutely everywhere with no consequence at all. Yeah, I heard that you like that, Phil. With that, all of the Wild West stages are done, which only logically leads on to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space! Next minigame, Zero G's, which is a side-scrolling platformer race to the finish line while you battle the occasional enemy, which I remember fondly from my childhood being the most fun minigame on the disc, despite how fucking awkward as hell it is to platform. Remember, this is the same engine exactly as Search for Reptar. I mean, considering this game is aimed at younger children who are fans of the Rugrats cartoon, it's actually kind of shocking how difficult it is to control and throw the baby's weight around the stiff jumping. Plus, the inputs aren't the most responsive, which leads to constant dropping off of ledges and many retries to follow, which becomes especially annoying when— What the fuck is going on here? Do you have to be a Fanny every time I see you? Also, I do think they could have picked another noise for the Reptar bars. I don't know, just a suggestion. Next minigame, and it's more shooting.
But now with a serious lack of milk.
Yeah, it's more of the same, but with lasers and UFOs instead of milk squirting on underpants. Oh, come on, they must have known that had a double meaning. And with that, we finish the level and on to the next minigame.
Take me to your mummy. Ha! I've still got it.
Where are the police? Next game, and we're running over aliens in hovercrafts. Now this is horrible, isn't it? At least it's the perfect minigame to match Angelica's character. They should have called it Lost in Fanny. Hey, look at that. That UFO is having a great time. What the bloody Jesus is it doing? I want to join in. Okay, this isn't actually that fun. But you know what is fun? Well, kind of fun. Diapers of Thunder, a set of racing mini-games. Now that was unexpected. You race around the desert, the bayou, and a basic racetrack while fighting all of the other babies, which makes absolutely no fucking sense because aren't we all supposed to be looking for the same damn keys? Why do you lose a key if another baby wins? Shouldn't they just get the key if they win and give it to us? Video games suck.
Hang on a second. The Rugrats, all babies and toddlers, escaped to the backstages of all these film sets in this studio and they just so happen to have conveniently sized, baby-sized equipment and obstacles for all of them to use. What were the studio filming before we got here?
Take me to your mummy.
Okay, so Diapers of Thunder is far, I repeat, far from a Mario Kart clone or anything even remotely close, but it's still better than anything Miracle Designs has shat out. So I can let this slide for just a mini game that's a smaller slice of a bigger game and that's for really young children. There's different terrain, obstacles to avoid, power-ups to throw and drop behind you, winding lanes, hills and bumps, speed pads, pads that multiply whatever item you're holding, and there's even targets in the tracks that you can throw beach balls at if you want to grab some extra Reptar bars. I even like the visual gags in the stages, like the crashed UFO in the cornfields of the bayou. I loved that, and no character says anything about it when you drive past, so when I was younger, I didn't even notice it until replaying the game for this video. To tell you the truth, yeah, I did play this game a ton when I was younger, but I am still pretty surprised at the amount of variety here, especially compared to Search for Reptar. I mean, it does feel very much like the same game in many places and doesn't follow any of the original episodes to spice things up a bit, but I do think Studio Tour delivers a fun enough time for kids on the variety of things to do and the freedom to do them whenever you want or not to do them at all, instead of having most of the game with you running your stupid baby face into every solid surface until you mold their skulls into this. Yeah, you stay lost, Fanny, just where you belong. Also, I think Tommy has seen some shit. The main thing stopping me from really liking the racing parts of this game is the fact that, well, it can get a bit fucking boring after a while. Instead of many different smaller tracks to keep things interesting, Studio Tour goes for extremely long, limited amounts of tracks, and they can drag on for what feels like 20 odd minutes. I mean, look at this track here. It's a beginner's track for sure, but look how uneventful it is, and look how slowly the dots are moving across it. Got it? Great. Now look at how many laps there are. Do you realise how fatiguing it is to be in first place, going around in a simple circle, overtaking last place twice over while knowing that you still have 5 laps or so to go? I didn't feel human by the end of it.
And that's because I'm not.
Okay, then on to the pirate world, the final world, so let's finish this all off.
Yo ho ho, man,
The first minigame here is treasure collecting, and you know it's going to be a great minigame when it doesn't even fit inside the loading sign. This is basically the same thing as the minecarts level from earlier, but you can run freely and jump around, which makes it a little bit more fun, I guess, although despite the fact there are 4 different levels of this minigame, all with different music, all that actually happens is that you run around the exact same identical stage that just gets more extended in each level, which is lame as hell. I want more places to explore. I'm a pirate, damn it! And wouldn't you know, the next minigame, Treasure Hunt, actually managed to scratch my exploration itch. This sounds weird, but I actually really loved these parts as a kid, and even to this day. I find this minigame so damn relaxing. There's no time limit here, and you go through very visually different locations looking around for 4 blue chests so that you're able to open a final golden chest hidden deep within the map. It's just you, the environment, and a few enemies to get around while you find things, and the music along with all the visuals of the stages just makes me feel all jolly and ready to find the treasure. But this could very easily be nostalgia, so for all I know, Treasure Hunt is a smelly arse. Next minigame is up, and it's a 2-parter, foot racing and tag. Foot racing is exactly what it sounds like. You run around and race, and I hate to admit it, but I nearly lost this game. It was surprisingly tricky and required a little bit more strategy on positioning and power-up usage than the kart racing. As for tag, well, it's tag. You run around a map, find the babies running away from you, and then touch them to catch them. It's like a mix between foot racing and treasure hunting. And I'd like to take some time to thank the devs immensely for including an unfolding map in the corner of all the minigames that require it. It's a fucking lifesaver in some of the more open, free roaming stages, and it's a great idea because you don't just have the map there ready to go, you have to actually explore to open more of it. At the same time though, game, what's your damage? I'm definitely in front. What's going on here? Next game is mini golf again, but obviously in a pirate theme, and since I have nothing else to add to what I said earlier about golf, let's talk about another thing I like. The amount of unique character dialogues for every minigame and subsection of each minigame.
Hey, can we cut down that big pole?
Prepare for lunch!
Maybe I could just dig a hole and put my ball in there.
They're charming, adorable, and a nice detail that didn't need to be added, but like Search for Reptar, the team used the original voice actors to their fullest to recreate the authenticity of the cartoon pretty damn well. So it's all good stuff, and you know what else is good stuff?
This incredible putt I did here. Yeah, boy, in the hole.
Cock. Okay, so I'm right on the edge of this corner and I only have 1 shot left before I go over par. I need to make this shot count and get it in the hole without bouncing the ball back. Come on, Chucky.
Holy shit, that was cool.
You ever get the feeling you're being watched?
Okay, I think the police went to the wrong address. Where the fuck are they? Finally, okay, got myself 33 keys. That should be plenty enough to fit 8 locks.
And the lesson today, kids, is don't try too hard at anything because it isn't fucking worth it.
We open the door and another cutscene begins with an even dumber development.
Way to go! You did it! Nothing can stop us now! Whoops, except for the high-tech space-age backup security door. You only need 1 key to open it, though. Too bad I don't remember which lock is the right one.
So yes, this entire next part of the game is based around luck. Luck on which lock is the right one in this huge ass door. So I guess it's just lucky then that I decided to do all the mini games before this point and be left with so many keys spare that I had a key lime pie earlier that I made with real keys. I start placing all the keys I have left in all the holes and voila, this is the lock and the gate opens.
You guys stay here. I'm gonna go find help, and then we'll go find a little bald guy.
Why is that funny? Here we go with the final part of the game. Another scavenger hunt with Fanny as Shirley Log Holmes, followed by some easy kid game platforming switch hitting puzzles, and this follows on to a Tommy platforming stage.
Okie dokie Jones to the rescue!
This is your biggest challenge yet, Jones.
You're damn right it is. I don't even know where I am.
So yeah, once again my disc I think is a little bit too scratched to carry on to the ending. It just keeps glitching out at that one point. But rest assured I do remember the ending for this game. It's actually kind of epic if I do say so myself. You find Dil and then there's this epic, if a little bit wonky, controlling chase sequence in a Reptar wagon as you escape from a mechanical Reptar full-on Jurassic Park style. But to be critical for a sec, this may be a sequel that doesn't really change or fix that much at all from Search for Reptar. In fact, the controls, the camera, the basic core mechanics of the game are completely the same, which is the biggest problem with Search for Reptar. So, in that sense, it's actually a pretty bad sequel. And it's not a great game in any sense, but I do feel tons of nostalgia for it, and I'm gonna give credit to the fact that it does provide a lot of variety for kids who are fans of the show, and I enjoyed my time playing it. I mean, I didn't hate it, so that's got to account for something, and that's revisiting it after all these years. So because of how awkward it is, and the fact that I don't have the salvage gun so I can't fucking save it, I'm not as confident to give this game a free pass entirely, especially compared to the original and... yeah, that, but I also don't want to slaughter the game either because it really doesn't deserve it, so I can't salvage it, I haven't got the other gun for it, so... how about I just knock it down a peg or two instead? Get ready, Studio Tour, not for the gun, but get ready for a genuine, official Mario Kart race shell! Yeah, that'll teach you!
Hey there everybody, and thank you so much for watching this stupid video on Rugrats Studio Tour, and special thanks to all the names on screen right now that have helped support this channel and this show via Patreon. I can't thank you enough. And special thanks to all the top tier supporters: Omama2, Basil, Patrick Ferguson, Robert Alamsha, I Have a Portal Gun, Gamer Man, William Sanborn, Jezebel, Matthew Hubble, Chumbawamba, Cyberpunk Symphony, Star Ira Lance J, Zakari, Binary Code, Exopaz, Thomas Olson, Mills Kahai, Daniel Leon, Jane Ives, Mitchell Reed, A.D. Thornton Smith, Oblivion Rising, Ellen Ripley, Kirsten B, QB, Nathan Young, and Nicole Ganara. Thank you so much, every single one of you.